back to Rolly Reacts, back again this week with another review for the Mandalorian episode 2. And what another great week, man. It just brings me such joy to know that Star Wars is back in full effect. The storytelling is using from previous Star Wars shows like Clone Wars and Rebels, and just digging deep into that inside baseball true Star Wars fan lore. I just love the way that they're incorporating these characters, and just the how do you say, it's just the magic that we know of Star Wars and that we've all loved, and why we're all fans of Star Wars. They're incorporating that in this show more than any other Star Wars show or movie up to date. We start off the episode this week with Mandalorian. He went back to his sleazy mechanic. He needs to get a droid to inspect the air quality on Mandalore when he goes, to make sure that they could even, get off their ship to explore and try and find these mystic waters that he's looking for. So, just as usual, he tries to sell him one of her sleazy droids, or something. She's a hustler, she's just over there. She's a smooth talker. And she's trying to sell her products, do the least amount of work possible, get the Jawas to do her stuff. And she was cheesy at first when they first introduced her, but she's kind of grown on me. I mean, she has some little funny one-liners, and she's only used for a short period of time in every episode, so it's not like it takes so much away out of the story. But she sells him a droid. She gets it up for him, and it looks like they're having some type of celebration there. I forgot what day it is that they called it, but they leave the planet, they head off to Mandalore, and it's so cool because the next scene that we go into, we get a glimpse of Mando giving Grogu another lesson, and it's just a nice callback in this episode to Clone Wars. I think it was season 2, the Mandalore plot. When it's at the time when Mandalore is getting a bad rep because of the Death Watch group that's causing all this terrorism, and then you have who was it, Satine, or I don't know, one of the leaders over there on Mandalore was basically telling Obi-Wan that all of those warrior type people, they were exiled to a planet called Concordia. And then we find out that that's Mando's home planet. It's actually not a planet. You got the planet of Mandalore, and then you have like moons surrounding it. And Concordia is one of the moons that Mando's from. But it's it was a cool callback to know that Mando is from that planet where all these like bad named and bad reputation Mandalorians were exiled to. So he comes from that cloth of hard warriors knowing the tactics of battle. So I just loved that little tidbit there, and I loved that he was showing Grogu basically the ropes on how to navigate, and giving him like little wisdom. What was he saying? He said something like, you got to know how to read a map to know where you're going, or something like that. It was kind of Yoda-esque. And I liked that. Yeah, I liked seeing those little glimpses of them bonding, him showing him the ropes, and mentoring Grogu, building him up to be whatever he's going to be in the future. So I love that. So we get to Mandalore, and it's just devastating to see the conditions that the Empire left after the Great Purge. I mean, they left that place flatlined, and it's so sad because in Clone Wars, Season 2, you see Mandalore, and it's a thriving civilization. They got a lot going on. And now you flash forward, and you see this place is just the ruins, basically. It's Empire left it flattened, and there's nothing there. And if there is anything there, it's just, remains and people that are shattered. They're probably extremely devastated and scared. So they land, the droid gets off, and he goes off to inspect the atmosphere there to see if it's safe for them to get out of the ship. But he goes off of their little scanner that they're monitoring him to see if he's making any progress or whatnot. And so at that point, Mando's like, I'm going to just go out there. I'm going to see what happened to him. Maybe it's just some type of interference that's not allowing us to see what he's doing. So let me go inspect. And when you get in there, Mando's looking for the droid. He doesn't find him, but he does find Mandalore. And you see the hidden civilization in there. But again, it's also just like the outside. It's just a ruin. There's nothing there, no life forms or anything like that. It's just devastation down there, basically. It looks decayed. It looks like an old cave, like from Pirates of the Caribbean. At that moment, while he's viewing those ruins and just seeing what the Empire did to this great, once great nation, he gets jumped by these cavemen, and they're just like whooping him and stuff like that. They gang up on him. They knock his pistol out or his blaster out of his hand, and you're like, damn, man, these guys are vicious. They got like these woolly mammoth bats and stuff like that. So caveman like. But he whips out the Darksaber, and what I like about this is that you could tell in other shows when the hero is whipping out some type of special weapon, or maybe has demonstrating some special type of power. They usually do this corny thing where it's like, oh, he instantly gravitated to it and picked it up that easily. But you could tell just by the way he's like whipping out the Darksaber and holding it and swinging it, that it's still heavy. It's still a new thing to him. He's not seasoned in using that weapon right now, but he is a warrior and he has that warrior spirit. So he takes these guys out with it. He's not going to just give up and roll over and die. He's going to fight to the end. And he does. He eliminates these guys, and he gets, he gets rid of them. And now that the coast is clear, he's like, all right, let me go get Grogu. And we got to go down in there. We got to see if we can find the what is it? The tunnels with the waters or whatever. So, and also during that fight, it was just like some awesome visuals. You have that like dark ambiance in the background. You have Mandalore in the background, and then you have him at the edge of that cliff where he threw a few of those cavemen off actually too, which was also an awesome visual. But just the darkness and then the light of the Darksaber, it looked stunning. I mean, I loved it. I loved the way the aesthetics of it and just the way it looked. But the coast is clear, so he gets Grogu, and they make their way in. And I love this shot that comes up next. Once they get back in there and they're at the edge of the cliff where you see Mandalore, the way they're submerged down and the way they land, the both of them, it's just a beautiful, iconic shot, of just the jetpack blaring and them going down, and I love that. I just think it's one of those images that you're just like, this is why I love Star Wars. I mean, just the visuals alone are phenomenal and just amazing, and the backdrop of like planets or different environments where these characters are in. This is why I'm a huge fan of Star Wars. So it was just awesome to see that. But as they're exploring down there, they're looking for the little caves with the mystic waters. And this huge spider comes out of nowhere from underground, grabs Mando, locks him in this like, little cage or something, and just takes him. And at that point, baby Grogu, he's kind of, just like, what do I do? So the spider takes him off, and Grogu stays behind and kind of is trailing this spider, scoping out the situation, looking for his in when he could jump in and actually maybe try and help Mando. So he sees an open spot. The spider kind of goes away, or this little like spider monkey comes out of this big spider and starts doing some stuff to Mando, attaching some things to him, and then he kind of steps away. So that's when Grogu goes in, and he goes up to Mando. He's trying to get him out with the Force, trying to maybe break him free, but he can't. He ends up making, I think, even some noise, and that spider automatically starts like blasting him, shooting him, so he has to get out of there. And Mando basically says, look, you're no match for this thing. Get out of here. Go find Bo-Katan. See if she can help. And I thought it was just so adorable that all of the training, and this is why it's important, and this is why I like those little tidbits from earlier in the episode and even last episode, where Mando's kind of showing him the ropes on how to navigate the ship, how to use the different things. Now it makes sense in this moment when he's like, go and get some help. Now it's like it's believable that he would be able to do that, you know, because any other show, they probably wouldn't have taken the time to put those little intricate details and show us him showing him the ropes. So we would have been like, oh my God, this is some cheesy, you know, little kid shows type stuff or whatever like that. But it's not, you know. So anyways, he gets in the ship. He leaves the planet, goes to Bo-Katan's castle. And, you know, we see her droid come in. He's informing her that there's a unannounced visitor entering the atmosphere, and she sees Mando's ship. So she's just like, oh my God, this guy again. And she's just sitting on her throne, just kind of like moping in her sorrows and has no purpose at this point. She's still with that. And, but she's like, oh, let me go kick this guy out. I don't know what he wants here. I already told him that, you know, I'm not doing anything anymore. And I'm not joining him on any quest or whatever. So she gets out to the little hangar, and baby Grogu pops out. It's adorable. He pops out, and she's just like, what the hell? And then she starts, and then it, you know, hits her like, oh man, you know, what happened to him? So she goes with him. She gets on her ship. They go to Mandalore. They get down there, and she just looks badass. I mean, with her helmet the way it is, and the way she walks, her little strut, she has such charisma. It's pretty awesome. But they get down there, they go into the cave, they're walking through the cave, and this scene is so dope because you see what a great warrior Bo-Katan is. We knew that from Clone Wars and Rebels, and we've seen her in action, and we've seen that she could hold her own, but in live action, it was just so cool to see her take those cavemen. What are they called? I think they were called Alamites is what she called them. But she takes them out with ease. She basically, you know, gets rid of them, knocks them out, and yeah, I mean, it was just super cool to see that. And another thing too is that, you know, I'm glad they went this route with Bo-Katan, because the way they were setting it up in the trailers and the way it seemed from last episode, just kind of with the tone that she had in her voice when she was talking to Mando, it seemed like they were going to make her an enemy this season and make her, you know, maybe be combative with him. And that may still happen, whatever. But from what this episode establishes is that she still lives by that code, you know, that we must help each other as Mandalorians, regardless of whatever the scenario may be or whatever disagreement we have. You know, we still look out for each other, and we still look out for our own. So I love that they went kind of this route, that she would kind of put her life at risk to save Mando. So I thought that was beautifully done. And I'm happy they went that route, because, you know, you want to cheer for a hero, you know, you don't want to cheer for like a villain and stuff like that. And, but nevertheless, she gets down there. They do another nice, cool visual scene where they're submerging into Mandalore, and you know, her and Grogu, and she finally gets down there. She sees where Mando's locked up. She goes and combats this spider monkey being. I don't know what it's called, but she goes down there. She starts fighting it, and then here is just an awesome scene, because I mean, at one point she's getting electrocuted by that thing. It's getting the best of her. But she grabs the Darksaber, and she just grabs that thing with ease. It doesn't look like it's hard for her to use this saber. She's definitely skilled in combating with that saber. And it's just awesome to see, because she kind of like sliced and diced this spider monkey with that thing and took it out fairly easily. So that was pretty cool. And then after that, we kind of cut to, she's already saved Mando. He wakes up out of his like little coma or whatever, because I don't know what they were doing, but they connected Mando to like some type of tubes, and they were like taking out his blood. I'm wondering if that has anything to do with like cloning. You know, in the new episodes, what was it, 8, I think, they mentioned Snoke with some type of cloning and stuff of that nature. I don't know. Cloning mechanism. You know, we need his blood to put it into this other thing. Or maybe even to make it one of those spider monkey creatures. Because it looked like that creature it was mechanical, but it had like a human eyeball. So maybe they're trying to make an army of those. I don't know what was going on there, but let me know if you know, or you know what, if that was mentioned elsewhere. I didn't pick up on what exactly was happening there, and maybe they'll explain it the rest of the season, but we'll see. But she's waiting for him to wake up. She's making some type of, they set up like a little camp at that little ledge overlooking Mandalore at the entrance. And when he wakes up, she gives him this soup. A traditional Mandalorian soup, which I thought was so cool. And I'm sure that now at Galaxy's Edge, they're going to have that at like food courts and stuff like that for like a lunch or a dinner item. You could get some of that Mandalorian soup. Getting his gear on again, picking up the Darksaber, his blaster. And she's like, what are you doing? You know, you need to rest, and it's not wise of you to get up so quickly like that. And he's like, no, I'm going to continue on with my quest. And she's like, oh my God, here this guy goes again with this nonsense. I mean, obviously you're not good at doing these quests. I had to come and save your skin, and you had to get me out of my funk. But the cool thing I like about that too is that, earlier in the episode and even last episode, she was, just moping in her castle. She had no purpose. And the cool thing about her coming here now is, in a way, Mando's given her a new purpose at this point. He kind of, by necessity, dragged her out of her castle, dragged her out of her just moping with herself there, and now she has something to do. So as much as she's like, oh my God, why is this guy continuing with the same nonsense? She's still willing to help. So she's like, you know what? You're going to get yourself into trouble again. Let me go with you and I'll show you the mystic waters, since you want to see this. He's like, I want to tell you, I don't think it's real. I don't think you should waste your time pursuing this, but whatever. I'll take you there. I'll show you why we don't believe in that nonsense. So they get to the waters, and she's reading it's like an inscription on the wall of the folklore of the the myth, or not the myth, but the folklore of the importance of bathing in these waters and destroying this mystic beast that's in the waters. And she's just like rolling her eyes like, oh my God, this sounds so, see how stupid this sounds? Like, just by the look and just the sarcastic way that she's reading this transcription, you could tell she doesn't believe in this nonsense. But as she's reading that or whatever and rolling her eyes and not believing what's happening, Mando's taking off his gear and he's ready to go in. And he just goes in. He starts reciting the Mandalorian Creed. And just as he does that, he just gets sucked in. And she's like, oh, shoot. Like, what the heck? So she dives in after him. And it looks cool. The jetpack in the water creating bubbles and her mask in the water. It's just another awesome visual. But she finds him at the bottom of the waters there. And he's like choking or unconscious. And she grabs him. And she's ascending with him back to the surface, to get him, to save him again, just for the second time.
Not for saving your skin for the 10th time.
But yeah, she saves him, and as she's ascending, she sees the mystic creature. She sees like the big saber tooth that it has, and the big eyeball, and that thing is massive, man. That thing is like blending in with the rocks down there, but it's like a huge mass. And so she hits that jetpack, they fly out of there, and that's where the episode ends. And it was just awesome because, now that she's seen the proof, she's seen that this is not all BS. This is a real thing. It's not a myth. Now she's going to be a believer, and now she's going to be more on his side. Not just kind of like a passive Mandalorian or a different sect of Mandalorian. Now, I mean, she's seeing that the folklore, the myth, and the way of the Mandalore is the way that Mando and his crew have said. So I think it's cool. I liked this episode a lot. I was watching Christian Harloff's immediate reaction to this, and he was saying, he giving his thoughts on like the second episode because he got like an early screener. And he was just basically saying that this would have played nicely if you would have had episodes 1 and 2 back to, as one episode. And I think so as well. I mean, I think if you would have had last week's episode and this episode mashed together, that would have been an epic intro to the season. But nevertheless, I like that, we're on episode 2 now, and we immediately went to Mandalore. We didn't waste no more time. We immediately jumped into this. This gives us a lot of time for the rest of the season to, explore Mandalore, explore the lore, probably maybe find groups of people down there. I mean, yeah, it is the ruins and stuff like that, but in those ruins sometimes there's like sects of people that have stood down there, and she said as much in the last episode. She said that when she got there, some people saw her without the saber and they lost respect for her. So now that the saber is there and both of them are there and she's on board because she believes all this, I'm sure they're going to do a lot of exploring on Mandalore, and I'm just so excited to see that. I mean, I think it's phenomenal storytelling. I love that they're incorporating the animated stuff. I know in previous, interviews with Kathleen Kennedy, she kind of felt like including these things in the new Star Wars stuff was too inside baseball, and that a lot of casual fans wouldn't really, they wouldn't really understand what was going on. But I love that they've kind of negated that, and they're doing a course correction now with Star Wars. And obviously, doing it on TV is much better. It gives you more time to build the characters, to explore worlds, to explore different characters. So I just love what's happening here. What did you guys think of the episode? Let me know. I'm curious to see. Also, if you guys know what they were doing with the blood, like draining the blood out of him, drop it down in the comments below. I'm so curious to see. I haven't really seen anything referencing that, so I'm very curious to that. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought of the episode. Can't wait for next week and the following. Next week episode review will probably be a little bit later because I am going on a trip to Colombia, so I don't know how the internet is out there, if it's limited or whatnot. But as soon as I come back, I'll definitely go ahead and drop episode 3's review. I'm super excited to see it, and I'm excited to talk about it next week, guys. Until next time, I appreciate you guys stopping by today, watching this review. And please like, comment, and subscribe. Share this with your friends that love Mandalore. I want to open up some type of conversation. And if there's anything I got wrong or anything like that, I would love to talk about it with you guys. So until next time, guys, thank you so much. Please follow me on Instagram, Rolly_reacts with a Z. And until next time, guys, bye.